Okay, so today I'm going to do some solving equations with you, okay? And the equations I'm going to look at solving with you are two different types. I'm going to start with x on both sides of the equation, and then I'm going to do equations where x's are on both sides and where we've got brackets involved as well, okay? Now the key with this is that there's one rule really, and the rule is that you want to end up with everything that's got your x or whatever the letter is on one side of the equation, and everything else needs to go to the other side, alright? And you've just got to decide which way to move things, that's all. So we've got 11x take away 2 here equals 9x minus 4. Always start with x. Most importantly, always start with x. So my advice is start with the smallest amount of x. So we've got 11x and we've got 9. The smallest x is 9x, okay? Now what we can do to get rid of it so we don't have any x's on this side, it's positive 9x, so I'm just going to take away 9x. You can't just do that to one side of the equation, you must do the same to the other side of the equation. So over here, I'm going to also take away 9x. If I take away 9x from this side of the equation, what I'm left with, if I've got 11x and I take away 9x, I'm left with 2x, subtract 2 still, is equal to, now on this side it's important that you leave the sign with whatever it's in front of. So the 9x is gone because I've taken it away, but I've still got negative 4, and that's really important. Don't drop your sign from one line of the working out to the next. Okay, next we've got 2x minus 2 equals negative 4. Now remember I said x is on one side, everything else on the other. So I've got my 2x just on its own, but now I've got minus 2 with it. So I need to get rid of negative 2. I do the inverse operation. The opposite of negative 2 or take away 2 is to add 2. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides of the equation. So if I do that here, I'm just left with 2x. And if I do that to negative 4, visualise a number line if it helps, or even draw one. There's your 0, you're at negative 4, and we want to add 2. And if we're going to add 2, we go up 2. Now if you draw that, it helps you to visualise what's happening, because negative numbers can be tricky, and the answer therefore is negative 2. Now we're not quite finished, because we want 1x, and we've got 2x. So if 2x is negative 2, then 1x is just negative 1, because the last step is that we divide through both sides by 2. Right, on to the next example then. Same principle, keep the same rules, okay? So deal with your x's first, get all the x's on one side, everything else on the other. Now I said deal with the smallest amount of x. So I've chosen this example for a reason, because it looks initially like we've got the same amount, so which one do you choose? But we haven't. Here we've got plus 2x, and here we've got minus 2x, and the smallest one is minus 2x. Do the inverse operation. To get rid of a negative 2, we just add 2x to both sides of the equation. If I add 2x here, I get 4x, and don't forget your 1, so we've got 1 plus 4x is equal to just 9, because the negative 2x is gone because we've added 2x. Now I need to get rid of this 1, that's quite nice and easy, I just subtract it because it's a plus 1, so I need to take it away. So that leaves me with 4x is equal to 8, because 9 take away 1 is 8. And now I just divide through by 4, because I want to end up with just 1x and 4x. To get it to 1x I need to divide by 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and there is my answer. Now I promised you that I would also do a question involving brackets, so that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So hopefully you've got that. I'll just wipe this off. And my third example I'm going to do has lots of brackets and has x's on both sides. So are we ready? We have 3 lots of 3x minus 1. Then we're going to subtract 2 lots of 4 minus 3x. And we're going to say that that is equal to 18 lots of 2x. I believe it's minus 1. Yes. Wow. There's a lot there. So we want to get all of our x's together on one side and everything else on the other, but the x's are all mixed in with the brackets. So the best thing to do first is to multiply out the brackets. So I tend to just remind myself that I'm doing that by writing MOB, which stands for multiply out brackets. So in order to do that, we literally multiply the number on the outside by everything inside the bracket is in front of, okay? But we have to be careful, and I'll do this one bit at a time. So 3 times 3x is 9x. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. It's fine so far. Careful with your signs. Remember, the sign goes with whatever it's in front of. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. Okay so far. Negative 2 times negative 3 though, or negative 2 times negative 3x. Now, as we know, a negative multiplied by a negative is actually a positive, and that is where some people will make a mistake. So that becomes plus 6x. And then lastly, I know it's a big number, but I'm sure we can all cope. 18 times 2x is 36x. 18 times negative 1 is minus 18. Okay? So the next thing to do, we could start working out the smallest amount of x and so on, but if you look at the left hand side where we had 2 brackets to expand here, it's a bit of a mess. It needs tidying up. We need to collect the like terms. So my next step would be to tidy that up, particularly the left. The right's okay. So we've got here 9x and 6x, so that is 15x. And I've got negative 3, take away another 8. Again, think about your number line. You're at negative 3, taking away 8, you're going down. That's actually minus 11. And that's equal to 36x minus 18. Okay? Now, we're now at a situation exactly like we were with the first 2 examples. We just had a couple of little steps to get there before we got to this point. And that's what we do with maths all the time. We're always reducing it to a problem that we've done before. Okay? So, let's get all of the x's together on one side. Smallest amount of x, okay, well we've got 15x here and 36x here. They're both the same, they're both positive, so the smallest one is the 15. So we're going to take away 15x from both sides. Again, be careful with your signs. If I get rid of the 15x, I've still got negative 11 here. 36x, take away 15x is going to be 21x, and then we've got negative 18 there, or minus 18, okay? Now we need to get, we've got the x's all together on one side, now we need to get the numbers together. So we want to leave 21x there, but it's with negative 18, so we better get rid of that. And remember, inverse operation, so we're going to add 18 to both sides. If I add 18 to negative 11, just be careful with this. Negative 11 plus 18, I'm going to be moving up. I actually get to 7. And that's 21x. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't like to have it that way round. So at this point, I just like to do a little switch so that I've got my x's there. It's like reading. You wouldn't read back to front, so you don't solve an equation back to front, okay? Maths is a language itself. So now I've got 21x equals 7, and a lot of people will be panicking and going for their calculator at this point. If it's on a calculator paper in your GCSE, that's fine, you can do it on the calculator, not a problem. But if it's not, then what you can do is you can just say, right, well, just keep your head about you. You know what you've got to do. We've got 21x, I want 1x. So you can divide by 21. And if you divide by 21, it's just like a fraction. You just write a fraction bar. So on the left we get x, and on the right, just write 7 divided by fraction bar 21. And you'll probably find that that's a fraction which we can simplify. So 7 and 21 have a common factor of 7. 7's into 7 goes once, 7's into 21 goes 3 times. Now yes, if you use your calculator you'll get 0.3 recurring, but we don't need to do that. This is actually more accurate, it's neater, and it's the best answer. So don't panic if it doesn't go, just do a fraction bar and see if you can cancel it down. Okay.